Founded in 1964, Fremont Bank understands the difference 60 years can make. It's the difference between serving a family business and being dedicated to a family business as a family business. The difference between looking at spreadsheets and looking at possibilities. The difference between deposits that go into a vault and deposits that go back into your community. So what difference does 60 years make? All the difference in the world. Fremont Bank. Here for you. Here for good.
Welcome to the Trip Tales podcast with me, Kelsey Graves. Let's jump into a new episode exploring a vacation destination that you'll want all the details about. Hey everyone, welcome back to Trip Tales, the podcast where real people share their real trip stories, giving you destination inspiration and practical planning tips. Today we are going to be talking about visiting iconic Disneyland in California on a budget with my guest, Jamie. So welcome, Jamie. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, this is going to be fun because I feel like it's hard to put the words Disney and budget in the same sentence. So I feel like a lot of people are going to be here for this.
Oh my gosh, seriously. It's one in its own, that place.
Yes. I start every episode with a rapid fire get to know you. So tell everyone where you live, what you do, and about your family.
Okay, so I live in Southern California. I grew up in the south suburbs of Chicago, though. So I've been here for about almost 10 years now, and I love it. I moved for the sunshine, but I still just feel like there's no place like the Midwest, and it's the best. We have two boys. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they are polar opposites, as most kids are. So my youngest is crazy. And then my 6-year-old is a little bit more reserved and rule following. And so it's always fun trying to make a trip that's going to appeal to both of them. And my husband actually, embarrassingly, doesn't love to travel. And so it's really, I do take some trips with just me and my kids. I take some trips with like my best friends and like all of our kids. We still have a very close friend group that lives kind of all over the country, and we still prioritize seeing each other sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times a year. And so we're really fortunate to have that friendship, and Points and Miles definitely helps us with that. And so I have my own Instagram where I teach families how to travel on a budget using credit card points and miles. And it has been a complete game changer in how much we are able to travel and the places we're able to go. It's amazing. So if you want to follow me, I'm at Jamie Travel Tips over there, and I would love to teach all of you about it.
Yes, I remember recently, actually, you were celebrating that you hit 10K on Instagram, which is a huge accomplishment. Congratulations. And I was looking at your Instagram last night, and you already shot up to 10.7. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's rocking and rolling over there.
I know. I just recently had a couple of videos, like, I hate to say go viral because I feel like that's just so strange to say, but yeah, I had a couple of videos that kind of like went viral. And then, so I've kind of really been, trying to think like, okay, if this is what someone really likes to see, let me maybe format another video in a similar way. And so showcasing another property that they can go and stay at that we loved, and just breaking it down for families in terms of what we liked doing at the properties that we've been at, and what families. I do a lot of California travel. I mean, we're lucky to be in California where there's so many great places to go that are, within a short drive. And so we've been able to see a lot in such a short amount of time just because of that.
I wish I could share some secret sauce to going viral, because I feel like every once in a while, I feel like I get it. And then exactly what you said, a good thing to do is if something went viral is basically do it again in like a different way, or like in 3 months, literally post the exact same reel again, which typically works. But then I'll like get on a roll and get a little cocky, and then you post something and it like doesn't do anything. And I'm like, what? There's really no secret sauce. It's just throw a bunch up and see what sticks.
Yes. Instagram is forever a mystery to all of us.
Yes. And then I was doing a little stalking on your Instagram last night, and I saw that you went to Purdue, and I had to talk to you about that because I'm an Indiana girl. I didn't go to college in Indiana, but born and raised my whole life. My parents still live in the Indianapolis area. I'm up there all the time. So I was like, oh, you went to college in Indiana.
That's so funny. So where I'm from in Illinois. It's like really close to the Indiana border. Yeah.
Well,
and so I went to the Purdue Northwest campus up in like near Gary, Indiana. So I wasn't in Purdue proper.
Okay, got it.
But yeah, but still a great hospitality program. Just it was so much fun being there. And then I did a Disney college program after I graduated, and I worked at Disney in Orlando in the resorts. And that was such a great experience too.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. I wanted to kick it off with finding out this fun little fact that you are a former Disney cast member, which I feel like is so cool. And everybody loves a Disney cast member. And I feel like, people respect them so much. They obviously have been so well trained. So tell us what you did for Disney.
I was always drawn to the restaurant side of the hospitality industry. And so when I went to Disney World, I kind of wanted to be in the resorts because I wanted to see something different. And Disney is just, you know, as someone in hospitality, you respect them so much because the way that their service is just no one does it like Disney. And so I wanted to go there and just learn from them. And so I was in the Yacht and the Beach Club resorts in Bell Services. And so I worked in luggage. And so back then, this was many moons ago, was still when they had like Disney's Magical Express. And so you would check your bags at your house. You would put like a special tag on them when you got to the airport. You would check them at your airport, and then you wouldn't see them again until you got to your hotel room. Like you
Ooh,
wouldn't have to
I
pick them up from
forgot
the
about that.
yeah,
Wow.
you wouldn't have to pick them up from the airport. They handled everything. And so we would be the people who would like, receive the big cages off the trucks and like scan them all in and have them sent up to your room. And we would call the airport and find out where your lost luggage was when it didn't arrive in your room. So it was a lot of fun, and it was just such a cool experience. I wish like everyone could work in hospitality because I just think you gain such a different respect for the industry when you do. I remember on Christmas, I was doing transfers. So if you were staying at the beach club, but then for the rest of your trip, you're going to go stay at the Grand Floridian, we would transfer all of your luggage for you while you're out in the parks and enjoying your day. And so you're driving around in the van and you're unloading luggage at all the different properties. And I'm just like dripping sweat. And I'm from Chicago. And I'm like, why am I sweating on Christmas? Like, this is the worst. Like, it still just was so hot. But it was great. It was some of the best like memories and times of my 20s.
That's so cool. Yes, I agree. I wish everybody could work in hospitality. I didn't really. I worked in catering a little bit just for fun, but nothing irks me more than someone being rude to service or to hotel staff, like airport workers. I
Hmm.
am like, I understand that there has been a hiccup in your day, but it is not that person's fault. Like you're
Right.
taking it out on them, and these poor people, take on so many other people's emotions. And oh, it if there's one thing I'm trying to teach my kids, it is like be kind and generous to all service people because they are literally there to serve you and they're doing their best, and nothing can go perfectly in travel. And I do not like when people are being rude to them.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's get into Disneyland. Like I said before, I'm excited to talk about it on a budget because it's really hard to do anything Disney these days on a budget. So we're excited to hear all of your tips. I've never been to Disneyland. Being a Midwest girl, I've definitely done Disney World. I won't say a bunch, but a handful of times in my childhood and then my adult life. Done a Disney cruise, but never been to Disneyland. And it's actually kind of in my radar of thinking, I would be really fun to take my kids to California. They've never been to California, stay somewhere, Huntington Beach, somewhere cool, and then drive over and do Disneyland for a day or something. So it's kind of on my radar. So I have lots of questions for you. But let's start with park tickets before you're even going, before you figure out where you're staying. Let's start with park tickets. So, do you have any tips and tricks for saving a bit of money on Disneyland park tickets?
Absolutely. So one thing that you can do just to save a few dollars is purchasing via a third-party website. There's a couple of them. There's Getaway Today and there's Undercover Tourist, and both of those will save you like 5 to 10%. It's usually nothing crazy, but it can save you a little bit of money. And they still work just fine. I've purchased from them for like my mother-in-law, for friends and stuff, and we've never had any issues. They sell all kinds of theme park tickets. I got SeaWorld tickets there, all kinds of things. So that's one way. So if you're still just paying cash, you can always check sites like that. The second thing is using credit card points to offset it. And so one card that's really good for this is the Capital One Venture card because you can use the travel eraser feature. Just think of it as like a cashback feature for anything that codes as travel specifically on your statement. So with that one little restriction that it has to be something that codes as travel, you have to purchase it from one of those sites or from Viator, which a lot of us are probably familiar with
Yeah.
Viator at this point.
Yeah.
And
What does Disney code as if you buy it from Disney.com?
it codes as entertainment. And
Interesting.
so then it
Okay.
won't. Now, if you do purchase through, like, say you have a travel agent friend and you're going to do a full package. So, say you're going to purchase like your tickets and your hotel through a travel agent, then it will code as travel, but only if it's coupled with the hotel. So, if you just purchase the tickets from a travel agent, it's still going to code as entertainment. So, that's why there's just like that one small nuance. Signing up for that Capital One card will get you 75,000 points for the bonus. That's $750 off your tickets. I mean, that's a really good savings just from one credit card sign up. And if you referred your spouse to that card, you get another 20,000 points, which is another $200 plus their 750. So now, I mean, you're almost at $2,000 off your tickets. And one really annoying thing is Disneyland is very expensive compared to Disney World.
Oh
So
gosh,
just
really? I thought it would be flip-flopped.
it's crazy. Their ticket prices are way more than Disney World. So
Really?
that is something for people to keep in mind when they're searching to kind of plan to spend a little bit extra money there. And so finding these other ways to save is really going to help you. But I will say Disneyland is so much easier to do on points than Disney World. So keep that in mind too. If you really want that vacation where you can do it for next to nothing, Disneyland is going to give you that opportunity way more than Disney World.
I love this Capital One Venture X. Am I saying that correct?
Hmm.
Card
Hmm.
because you're not the first person that has recommended it. I don't have it still, but the amount of people that have come on here and explained with the travel eraser, which sounds like some magical genie pink eraser to me. I'm like, what,
Yeah.
how do we do this? That you can erase things like an Airbnb or a rental car or Disney park tickets if you buy them through one of these websites that will code as travel. And so I find it very interesting. I feel like, I've dabbled in Chase, and everybody knows that on here, Chase Ultimate Rewards, doing the Chase Sapphire and then the business cards. We're big into Southwest, earning companion passes
Hmm.
and all that. Then I dipped my toe into Amex Gold. Been loving that for grocery dining, and I have a
Yes,
ton of points I need to burn there, which is really a really fun problem to have for a travel
it is the
planner.
best problem.
But I feel like maybe later this year or next year, I'm going to go down this Capital One venture. Especially, I was telling Jamie that we would like to try to go to Disneyland as a family, take the kids to California. So this could be an interesting way to pair that trip with trying that credit card.
For sure. And there's actually two cards. So there's the Capital One Venture, which is the more basic one, and it's only a $95 annual fee. And then there's the Venture X, which is a $395 annual fee. And so it comes with more perks and things as the higher annual fees usually do. But the cool thing is you can actually hold both cards. So you can earn the bonus on both cards. You just have to get them 6 months apart from each other. So that's another thing to keep in mind.
6 months
There's
apart. And then do you have to? I know with Amex, I actually learned this too late, honestly, because there's so much information to learn. But I know with Amex, you need to kind
the
of stair
order
step.
matters.
Yeah. Does the order matter for Capital One?
It doesn't. I will
Okay.
say Capital One is also known for being a little bit more picky and like finicky with approvals. So I do always recommend getting Capital One a little bit earlier in your game, just because if you have a lot of recently opened cards, like my husband, we cannot get him approved for a Capital One card. I mean, we just, every time we try, it's denial.
Okay, it's so
So
funny. My husband has issues too sometimes, and it's like the funniest thing in the world to me because I am like the least financially savvy person, and he is the most financially savvy. And he's got all these
same.
Excel spreadsheets, budgets. He's kind of scared of credit cards, and like I'll like apply, and it's like legitimately immediate. It's like you're approved and your card is on its way, and then he'll do the same thing, and it's like denied. We need to have a phone call, and he's like, "What is happening?" He's like, "I literally I have the best credit score." I find it really funny. He does not find it funny.
Yeah. Another tip, if you are going to be applying for the Capital One card, for whatever reason, freeze your Experian credit report beforehand. I think a lot of the Chase polls come through Experian, and so most of us are in the Chase game. And so when you freeze the Experian report, for whatever reason, it only works with Capital One, it helps them not see that,
Oh,
and then
funny.
helps increase your chances of approval. From how I understand it, I don't know if there's like any real science behind the back end, but that's a little tip too for anyone who does go for that card.
Okay, cool tip.
For full details, including terms and conditions, visit unlock.com/legal. Call 1-888-780-6854 to speak with a representative today. Actor Portrayal. Terms and conditions apply.
Lisa, thanks for having me over. Your new kitchen is gorgeous. How'd you find the money to do it?
We worked with this great company, Unlock. They help you unlock the future value of your home to get the cash you need today.
So it's a home equity loan?
No, it's not a loan at all. There's no monthly payments and no interest charges ever. And you can use the money however you want. We were able to redo our kitchen and pay off our credit card debt.
Wow, Jack and I could really use this to finally pay off our old student loan debt. How do I get started?
It's easy. Just give him a call or go to unlock.com.
Call 1-888-780-6854 to unlock the value in your home and get up to $500,000 in cash with no monthly payments and no interest ever. Use the money for home improvements, to pay off debt, or to add to your retirement fund. It's up to you. Visit unlock.com. That's unlock.com, or call 1-888-780-6854 now to get started.
So we got our tip on offsetting park ticket costs. What are magic keys? I kept seeing you post about this on your Instagram. I don't think Orlando has this because I've never heard of it before, but what are magic keys?
Magic keys are our annual passes. So in Florida, they just call them Disney annual pass holders. For whatever reason, out here, they're called magic keys. And so for us, we purchased 2 magic keys and we used Chase points to cover all of it. So it was 165,000 points for 2 magic keys. And I had done like our second tier, whatever that one was. And so I only needed one for me and my oldest son. My husband, shocker, not a Disney fan. So he didn't care to go. And my youngest at the time was still free. So we just did it for the 2 passes. And then when we got to renewal, my oldest is actually, like I said, he's very reserved. He doesn't love Disneyland. And so I'm like, well, I'm not going to spend a lot of money for you to have this pass. So I didn't renew his. I only renewed mine when we came back up to renewal, which is a really sad day. But now I just get to have adult Disney days.
Yes, it's funny how kids are all so different. One of my friends loves Disney World, loves a theme park, and like none of her 3 kids do. And she's like, what is happening? What is wrong with you people?
It makes me feel like I have failed as a parent. Like, I'm like, what is
It's so funny. Okay, so when you say you bought the magic keys through Chase Points, was that available in the portal and you could just purchase it through the Chase Travel portal?
I purchased them regular through Disney and then I just used it as like statement credit cash back.
Got it.
So just used it to like offset that.
Okay, got it. Cool. Like you said, you're a local, so it's not hard for you to pop over to Disneyland, but you also have tips for staying near Disneyland for cheap or for free. And in August 2024, you did this. You wanted to not have to rush home and drive home. You wanted to experience the park and be able to stay there. So almost exactly a year ago, you stayed at Disneyland. So who all went on this trip?
So me and my 2 boys and my mother-in-law. And so we purchased her ticket. They were running a special, and I don't remember if it was like a SoCal resident special or if it was just anyone could do it. But it was like a 3-day ticket for X amount of dollars. So we used 3 days for this one. And then she went with us like another random day in the summer. But what we did was we stayed down there. So I live about 40 minutes from the parks with no traffic. So if there's traffic, it could be an hour and a half sometimes. So it is really nice just to be there and not have to worry about going like super early in the morning and having all of that. So we went down the night before, stayed in the hotel. And then that way we were morning people by nature. So we prefer the rope drop situation versus like closing the park situation. And it was nice to be able to wake up, like have breakfast and just roll out. And we stayed so my favorite hotel to recommend to people is the Hyatt House Anaheim Convention Center. This is a Hyatt property. So you're familiar with, the Ultimate Rewards. You can use those points, transfer them to Hyatt. It's a category 4. So it's bookable for 12 to 18,000 points per night. And I like this hotel because even if you're paying for it cash, the cash rates can be pretty decent, but they have family bunk suites, family bunk rooms. And so what's great about that is it's a king bed in one room, and then it has like a sliding door that closes off the other room where there's a twin bunk bed and a pull-out sofa. So if you're a big family, this is like perfect for you. Even their standard rooms, you can do a 2-queen pull-out sofa. So big families, this is a great location.
I am
And it gets the
taking
free.
notes on this. This like literally would be perfect for us. We
Yes,
recently stayed at I think it was a Hyatt Place out in Arizona. I'm in Page, Arizona, and it's like these hotels are fine and great. Like they're
I
clean,
know.
they fit families. They've got these big sleeper sofas or sectionals. I'm like, I love these hotels, and they are like so cheap on points. It's almost mind blowing.
I know. It really is so great. And I think, you know, so many people are out there in the points world and like, flying business class to here and they're staying at, this Park Hyatt. And I'm like, this is great and all, but like, that's just not where our family is at this point. Like, I love a free breakfast. Like, there is nothing to me that beats a free breakfast because, again, being morning people, it's like my kids wake up and they just want to eat food. They don't want to like sit around and wait while we, look up on Google where to go in the area. And then we have to go and park there and all the things. They don't want to get dressed, do all of that. We want to just wake up, go downstairs and get some free breakfast. So this one does offer free breakfast, which is great. And it's only about a 15 to 20-minute walk from, the hotel right to the park gates. And so that's what I really like about it. They do have a shuttle that's local in the Anaheim Resort area where it's called the Art Shuttle, and it's $6 per person, and it runs pretty much all day, and it goes to all the different like Good Neighbor, they call it, Good Neighbor hotels right there that'll bring you to Disneyland. I don't really think it's worth it because it's such a short walk. But if you are someone who's like, you've got really little legs or, walking with you or whatever the case is, and you want to save, that time and you want to have just a few minutes to sit down and decompress, then it's a good option for you. There's a couple of other hotels in the area that you can do too on points. So there is also a Hyatt Place. It's a little bit further right down that road. So you're probably adding a 5 to 7 minute walk to your time. And they have a shuttle right across the street that's actually part of the Toy Story Disney parking lot. And if you take that shuttle, it's free
Oh,
because
nice.
it's as if you parked in that parking lot. So little trick there. And then there is a Hyatt Regency Orange County. So that one's not going to have the free breakfast. And it's going to be a little bit fancier, if you will, but it's also a little bit farther away. So that one is going to be more like you'd probably want to drive to the resort. They do have their own shuttle so the Art Shuttle is run by like Anaheim, and that one is going to stop at multiple different resorts on the way to the parks. Whereas this one is going from the Hyatt Regency to Disney and back. It is their personal shuttle. It is not included with your stay though. That one again is the same price. It's that $6 per person for the day, and it runs like every half hour or so. That one it's a nice resort, nice hotel. You just are a little bit farther away.
And this Hyatt House that you stayed at, number one, I loved the pictures of the bunk bedrooms. So cute. It also has a pool and it has free breakfast. So it's kind of got a lot for it being one of the closer ones of the Hyatts.
For sure. It's got a cute like rooftop pool. I think it's on the second floor. And so it's really nice and just sunny and bright up there. You're not like, I don't love indoor pools, which
Hmm.
is funny. Like growing up in the Midwest, all the hotels I ever went to were indoor pools. But so now I'm like very accustomed to California life. So it has that. I will say parking is not free. So at a lot of Hyatt houses, Hyatt places, parking is free, which is another perk. But being that you're like basically at the mercy of Disney and, a city like that, parking is about $30 a night, but that's what you would pay if you were parking at Disney itself. So it
Yeah.
is kind of nice it's a cost that you'd have to pay regardless. So it's nice that that's just going towards the hotel and then you can just leave it there, whatever.
I have a
Um,
question. When you
mhm.
say you can walk over and it's a 10 to 15-minute walk, is it like an easy direct path walk or are you like crossing interstates? I don't know why I'm picturing you crossing an interstate, but I'm just like hoping you're not.
For sure. So yeah, the walk is about, I'd say 15 to 20 minutes.
That's like kind of a long walk, I feel like, with kids.
I don't know. I do it with a stroller. So I guess maybe I'm,
Yeah, and I'm picturing with kids without a stroller because we're out of stroller days, but we still have like whiny, like a 7-year-old, or I feel like she'd be like, "What are
yes.
we doing?"
Yeah, trust me, I know. And my 6-year-old is the same way. Like I should not need a double stroller, but I still have a double stroller
Yeah,
only for theme parks.
right.
So it's not terrible. You're walking down like a major road, but there's no like you're not crossing any highways or anything like that. You're just along like a busy road, but it's very like well lit. So even when you're walking back from the parks at the end of the night, it's nice to know that you're like in a very well lit area. You're not worried about anything.
And you're on a
And then
sidewalk.
yeah, you're on
Okay,
a sidewalk
cool.
and there's a ton of other people walking too. So you kind of just like follow the crowd and you all end up at the same place. And so, yeah, it's just a straight shot down. I believe the street is Harbor Boulevard. And then you kind of like make a left right on, you'll see all the shuttles and stuff, and you just turn left right there, and you're just in security at that point.
Yeah, I know a tip that works well at Disney World, which I've actually done a lot, and I'm planning on doing. We're actually going back soon, but my kids don't know yet. What I'm planning on doing this next time around too is Ubering to the parks. Do you know if that works well in Disneyland as well? Like just grabbing an Uber and they can drop you kind of close to the front?
Yep. So where the Ubers drop off is like you'll pass it as you're walking on this road. So yeah, they drop you off pretty much like right outside security on one of the entrances. And so that's really nice too.
Yeah, sometimes
And
that can be a quick way if you're in a pinch and you don't want to wait on a shuttle. And, there's so many of these Uber and Lyft drivers in these areas for this exact
yeah, for
reason.
sure.
Sometimes it's like $11 and it's like, let's just hop in an Uber and go across the street.
Yes, definitely. And I love Disneyland for the fact that everything is so close. So at Disney World, you need a shuttle, you need a Skyliner, you need a bus, you need everything.
Yes.
Disneyland, I mean, once you're in there, I mean, you walk in and it's, downtown Disney is right in the middle. And then on one side is Disneyland and on one side is Disney California Adventure. And it's just, you can walk back and forth to everything. You're like in this little bubble and you're there and you don't have to. And it's funny because I had never been to Disneyland until I moved here. And I did also work in downtown Disney when I moved here. I was a manager at one of the Italian restaurants in downtown Disney. And when I was interviewing for it and like touring it, as I got the job, I was like, gosh, it's just so small here because I had come from Disney World and like being a cast member there. And I had gone back to visit a couple times. And so that's just like all I knew. And I just was like so kind of turned off by it. But now I love it. And especially with families with young kids. And when you just spend so much time in transit at Disney World, I just think Disneyland is so much better for families.
That's a great point. I was actually going to ask you how it's laid out because obviously I have never been there. When you buy a park ticket, are you buying one ticket and does it cover everything? Or do you have to buy like a pass that allows you to go to both worlds?
Yeah, so it's similar where you can buy like the base ticket where it's one park per day, or you can buy a park hopper. I think one park per day, you can get through pretty much everything in that park. I don't necessarily think that a park hopper is needed unless you're doing, multiple days. If you want to do a third day and maybe on that third day you do a park hopper so you can go and hit up all the things that you missed at each park, that's kind of an option. But I think 2 full days, I mean, if you really, do your lightning lanes and figure out your planning ahead of time, you can hit up all the things you want to do.
Okay, got it. Is that what you guys did on this trip? Did you split park days or did you go back and forth?
We split park days. So the first day we did Disneyland. So like I said, we're early people. We pretty much rope dropped. We went straight to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and we just, got in line for that one. And we did pictures by the castle. There's less crowds at that time. They have like a Tarzan treehouse area, which is really fun for little kids to get some wiggles out and just climb up in and explore. And so we did that. And then my youngest napped like, around lunchtime and
in the stroller or back
in
at
the
the place?
stroller.
Okay.
Yeah, in the stroller. And so while we were there, my best friend also, we were there just the four of us, my mother-in-law, me and the kids. And my best friend also met us that day because she's also a pass holder. And so that, it's basically the kid's aunt. And so she stayed with my sleeping baby while
Aww.
I took my mother-in-law inside Oga's Cantina, which is you've probably seen it on Instagram, the very Star Wars bar restaurant. And so it's just very iconic. Everyone wants to see inside of there. And so we went in there and we did bring my 6-year-old with, and it ended up being too loud for him. He did eventually tap out and go outside with my friend and the baby. And so me and my mother-in-law just got to hang out in there. We had a drink. It's really cool in there if you're there. It's easy to just add yourself to like the walk-up list right on the app. And then when you get there, you check in at like the back of the line, wait in line, they seat you. To me, it's like a must see. Like especially if you're like even 1% into Star Wars, like they just do such a cool job and the drinks are awesome. So
is that
highly
the
recommend.
only Star Wars thing or is there a ride? I know, I'm picturing Disney World, which we've got Hollywood Studios and we've got the entire Star Wars land, So you're going into Disneyland. That's where the castle is, right?
Yes.
So you've got that. I'm not going to call it Magic Kingdom, but that's kind of like you're on that side of things.
Right.
You do some of the fun stuff, and then this cantina, is it kind of its own standalone thing, or is it within other Star Wars stuff?
Yeah, it's called Galaxy's Edge is what we call it here. And so there's two like main Star Wars rides. It's Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance. Rise of the Resistance is one where if you have your lightning lanes, it doesn't include that one. It's like it's standalone lightning lane. So if you want to do that one, you have to pay extra for that. And it can be like $20 to $25 a person, I think, in terms of budgeting. So that's something to keep an eye out for too.
I think we have that. Is it the same as the one in Disney World where it's like really cool and the stormtroopers are all standing there and that whole thing?
Yes,
Yeah.
I've never been on that one yet, so I don't know if there's like differences, but
Hmm.
it is very similar.
Cool.
So, and then Smuggler's Run is fun. It's more like 3D, like you're a pilot and like going through a simulation. So that one's fun. And then Oga's Cantina, and then yeah, it's got like a lot of shopping and stuff in there. It's cool.
Cool. Okay, so you guys went in Oga's Cantina. Do you remember what you got to drink, what it looked like? I'm just picturing like purple and smoke and things like that.
Yeah. So every time I go, and it's funny because I don't go often, but every time I go, I will still look at the drink menu and then I pick out the same drink every time, like unknowingly. Like I
Yeah.
was like, oh wait, I
You're like,
did
I
get this
still
last time.
like this the same
I
thing.
still like this same thing, but it's called the Fuzzy Tauntaun.
Okay.
And I actually wrote down what's in it because I wanted to be able to share with you. And so it's Ciroc peach vodka with peach schnapps and then like orange juice topped with tangerine. And then they call it a buzz button tingling foam. And so it
Wow.
looks like foam like coming off this drink, but it when you lick it or like just have the foam, it makes like your lips and your tongue tingle. It is the weirdest thing, but it's so good. So, anyways, I will shout
How
out that drink and you should
funny.
try it.
It sounds very citrusy and peachy, which sounds good. And then you get a little
Yeah.
tingle. How
Yeah,
fun.
it's really interesting, but it's good.
Founded in 1964, Fremont Bank understands the difference 60 years can make. It's the difference found in the details. The difference between customers and trusted neighbors. The difference between preparing for the coming weeks and planning for the coming years. The difference between serving a community and serving your community. So what difference does 60 years make? All the difference in the world. Fremont Bank. Here for you. Here for good.
Okay, so then your son napped, and then what did you guys do for the afternoon portion of your day?
We did lunch at Carnation Cafe, so it's just like American fare food. We're all pretty basic. I'm not one of those people who eats a bunch of crazy things. And then it's pretty reasonably priced too, but you definitely need a reservation. I would suggest reserving early.
So is that like
They're
a sit
known,
down where a server comes up to you and that whole
yes.
thing? Yeah.
Yes, that was like our one sit down meal. The fried pickles there are amazing. Definitely recommend that. And then we did a few more rides and all of those good things. And then we tap out, kind of early because we've got the little kids. And so I think we left around like 6 and headed back. And at the hotel right downstairs, there's a few different restaurants right at the hotel. One of them is like a Blaze Pizza. And so every time we stay there, we end up getting pizza from there. I really like it. And they've got really decent Caesar salad too. So it's kind of a nice thing just to grab on your way up to the room and bring it up to the room and just kind of veg out, turn the TV on and kind of chill for the rest of the night.
Perfect. That sounds like a great day. Are there any other rides on this side that are just like iconic or that you have to go on if you're going to make your way there?
My favorite is Indiana Jones. I don't
Which
care
is
what
a
anyone
ride,
says.
right? Because
It
in
is.
Florida, it's a show. If they even
Yes.
still have
So
it. I don't
it's
even know if they still have it. But I've heard
it's
that this
similar
ride
to
is cool.
Dinosaur. It's similar, like the track, the style of the car and everything. It's very similar to Dinosaur, and Dinosaur is my favorite ride there. So I think it's just so unique. There's not a lot of rides like that, and so I love it. Like storybook ride, but like adventurous. I don't know. So that one's over there. That's a good one to do. Toontown, if you have little kids, Toontown, they just like kind of revamped it and they added like this huge playground area and it's really interactive. So if you have young kids, visiting Toontown is definitely like a must do. I love that Disneyland has really done a great job of incorporating a lot of places like that where kids can just go and like get out some energy and they're not sitting in a stroller and you can kind of like take a minute to, not be so overstimulated by everything. And so that's another one of my like must do recommendations. And then of course they have, like the Buzz Lightyear like shooter game. They have a bunch of other stuff like that. Space Mountain is great. all of those good ones
Do
that
you
are
guys
like
have your own
classic.
haunted mansion?
We do. Yes.
Is it on that side?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
I am not a Haunted Mansion fan, so I like always forget that it exists and that
Yeah,
people are
because
like
people who
obsessed
are
with it.
fans are like obsessed with it.
Obsessed. Yeah. There's that. There's Pirates. Our Pirates of the Caribbean is actually, everyone says that ours is better than Disney World. So I would say that's a must do, if especially if you're into that.
Cool. And then I know you guys tapped out early because you had little kids and you probably just needed to chill and get some food. But is there an evening fireworks show?
So there is really not all the time anymore. There
Okay,
used to be. And I think a lot of it has to do with the winds and the fires out here, from what
got
I've heard.
it.
And so I think that that's a big reason, but they do still do them occasionally. So definitely check the calendar and stuff when you're coming. But there is always like an evening show, even if there's not a fireworks situation. Um,
Like a
yeah, we
character
just don't.
show?
They'll do like a parade nightly, and then there is like even I'm trying to think. We were there during Pixar Fest, and so they still did a show at the castle, where they're putting up, the projecting the images up on the castle, and they had, the characters kind of like flying up on the in the sky. I think Buzz was supposed to come out, and they were supposed to have like the Up House come out like on some sort of cable thing, and it didn't end up happening, but we were there like right at the beginning of Pixar Fest. So I don't know if they were still working things out, but yeah, so they do still do like a show at the castle, but it
So
just
just
doesn't
check the
include
schedule.
fireworks.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys hopefully get a good sleep and then you're up for park day 2. And are you rushing back over to rope drop? Are you grabbing breakfast first? Like, how is your morning working?
Yeah, similar the next day. So we did breakfast at the hotel again. That free breakfast, got to get it. So then we did basically a rope drop for California Adventure. From there, we went straight to Web Slingers, which is like the Spider-Man ride that everyone really loves. It is a lot of fun, and it's kind of like you're going through the game and you have to like shoot these spiders that are all coming out at you. And it's really fun. My youngest is in like a huge Spider-Man phase right now. And he was kind of like just entering it when we had gone on it. So he was really excited to see everything. He loved it. It is a little loud, so if your kids don't like the loud, keep those magic headphones around for you. And then after that, we headed over to Radiator Springs. If you have not seen Radiator Springs, it is one of my, I love California Adventure. To me, that's like my favorite park. They just have the detail done in in Radiator Springs cannot be beat. I mean, they think of everything and it looks like you're in the movie. So my kids, we did like there's Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, there's Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters. So those are just like more little kid rides, and then there is the Radiator Springs Racers, which like you're in, a car and you're racing another car on a track, and it's kind of storybook land. That one,
Cool.
similar to Rise of the Resistance, similar in that you have to pay extra for that. It's not included with the Lightning Lane. So those are the two rides at our parks that aren't included.
But only if
Um,
you want to get in the lightning lane. You can get in the regular lane and not pay
right.
extra. Yeah.
Right. They are notorious for having very long lines.
Okay, good to
So
know.
I will say, when my youngest napped on this day, my best friend and I went and did the single rider line for it. And we were lucky enough that we both got in the same car. So
Oh,
she was
fun.
just right in front of me and I was right behind her. And then, and I think we only waited like 20 minutes in the single rider line. So that wasn't bad. And that was a nice way for us to still enjoy it because my youngest was too short to go on it and my oldest was too scared to go on it. So it wasn't like they were missing out, but I wanted to go on it because it is a lot of fun. So we didn't have to spend the extra money and we didn't have to wait, 80 minutes to get on it.
Perfect.
Next, after that, we headed over to Pixar Pier, which is again, like I'm just such a huge Pixar fan, and Incredicoaster's over there, which we didn't do. My kids are too little for that one. But Incredicoaster is really fun. And just the whole Pixar Pier area, they always have a lot of great characters out, especially in the mornings. So that's a good time if you're going to get there early and rope drop and do that kind of stuff. You can get over there and get a lot of pictures with characters if that's your thing. And then they're also going to have a lot of the short lines. Another one of our favorite areas at California Adventure, it is currently closed for refurbishment, so I'm not sure what the expected opening date is, but it's the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. And again, this is another area where kids can go and play, but it's like massive. And so they have these like rope bridges, and it's like a whole climbing course. There's a zip line in there. There's slides in there. You'll see Chip and Dale like walking around in there and get photos with them. But this is just,
Cute.
it's designed to be like the Redwoods in California, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's got a lot of shade if it's a hot day. There's even a small spot that has like a very tiny amount of water that my son has to jump in every single time we're there and just get soaked.
Yeah. It's like not much
And
water, but you're going to find it.
yes, of course. And so, but that is not another area where if you just want to sit down with like your Starbucks in the afternoon and drink your coffee while they play, this is another like really great spot for that. So again, this is why I love that this park just has so many great things to really distract them.
Yes. What about food in California adventure? Any places that you love for stopping for lunch or dinner?
If you're going to do a sit down restaurant, there is a California like winery right kind of in this area. So it's right off Pixar Pier near there. And they have really great drinks and just like a great view of where you're sitting and watching everyone walk by. And so I love the food there. It's more like Italian fare, super simple, easy menu. And then for quick service, right across from there is what's called San Fransokyo. So it's kind of like Baymax, like Big Hero 6 or whatever,
Okay.
that sort of theme. So it's like San Francisco, but Tokyo. And
Does
over
it have
there,
like Japanese food?
they have a bunch of different stuff. So it's kind of like a food court. So there's like a Mexican restaurant. There's a stand where you can get margaritas. There's Aunt Cass Cafe, and that's where we usually end up going. They have really great bread bowls. So like soup in a bread bowl. And if that's your thing, not on a hot day necessarily, but if you're there early in the morning and it's cool, or late at night and it's cooled down, their mac and cheese is great. They have a kids meal that comes with like a mac and cheese, a cutie, an applesauce, and like a drink, and it's like $8. And I feel like as an adult, even that's like a really good meal to get. So that's a really good budgeted meal. And over there, there's, you know, you're on a bridge, and then underneath you, there's like a small water area. And so there's always ducks and things. And so you're not supposed to feed the ducks, of course, but everyone does. And my kids love like throwing, you know, goldfish crackers in there or some bread pieces in there. And so it's another good distraction to keep them preoccupied. Another ride that I think is a must do, and we sort of tag teamed this one, and so it's called Soarin. I forget.
Yes,
Soarin there?
I love
Yes.
Soarin. And they're all
Soarin
different
is
because
great.
some are Soarin over California, which they brought to us for a little while. Then we have the regular Soarin. I love Soarin.
Yes, that's one of my favorites too, and that's another one I really wanted my mother-in-law to experience. And so that's one where you can go up and get, I forget what the ticket is called. It's like a buddy ticket. I don't know. I forget what it's called. Excuse me. Someone Google it. But if you go up to the cast member and you tell them like, hey, I'm here with these little kids, they can't ride it. Can we like switch
Rider
off
swap.
basically?
Rider
Yes.
swap. Yes.
Ride switch. Yes. Okay. So we went up there, me and my mother-in-law went on, and then, or I went on or something. I don't remember the situation. But we went up there, we got the rider swap. I went on, she went on, and then my 6-year-old did actually ride that. I was very impressed with him, and he really liked it. My 2-year-old was obviously too small. So that one was another good one, and I just think everyone must ride it when they're there. And then like the aerial ride's really iconic there. But for the most part, I feel like California Adventure you can get through in a much faster time. And Guardians, if you're, you know, my kids are too little for Guardians, but Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like Tower of Terror for you guys. That one's really fun. I love that ride.
Guardians is like Tower of Terror, or it's not like our Guardians?
No, I have no idea what your Guardians is even like, but it is
It's
Tower
the
of
best
Terrors.
ride in the entire world.
See, I love our Guardians, but it was the old Tower of Terror, and they refurbished it, remodeled it, and it is now Guardians.
And is it a drop ride?
Yeah, it's like drop and like bounces. And then there's
Yeah.
like storybook with it too. Like they do some stories on the
Yes.
screens as you're like going through the levels.
Oh, how
Yeah.
funny. Okay, that's
Yeah.
funny. Our Guardians, which is in Epcot, is a roller coaster ride, and it's like Cosmic Rewind. Is it Avengers? I really don't know. The Fabulous Four.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. It's one of those movies. But
Yes.
I don't even know the movie or anything about the characters, but the ride itself is legitimately the wildest, best ride in the
I'm so
entire world.
excited.
Yeah, in Epcot.
That's so fun.
Okay, but you guys have a different Guardians, which is Tower of Terror-ish.
Yes. And so that's a must do if you're into that and your kids are older. But yeah, I feel like you can really get through much faster. And so similarly this night, so now we had stayed 2 nights in the hotel. So we had checked out of the hotel before we left and went to the park that morning, and just like loaded up the car and left it parked at the hotel for the whole day and then walked back and we took our car home from that night. So we left probably around 6. I will say California Adventure also has World of Color, so that's a really great show. If you
What is
haven't
that, like
seen
a
it
water
over here.
show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that one's really fun and it's really pretty like by it's kind of by Pixar Pier and you can see the big Ferris wheel in the background. So that's really pretty. So if you're gonna be there later, definitely check that out. But yeah, I think we tapped out again probably around 6, same thing, and we wanted to get out. We wanted to avoid traffic as much as we could, but not wait until too late in that night to leave, and then get home and put them to bed at a decent hour. So I think we just ate pizza. I don't even know what we ate for dinner. I think we just like grabbed something on the way home, like, fast food.
That's so fun though. You're so lucky that you can just be like, okay, now we're going to drive home and sleep in our own beds.
I know it is a perk. It really is. But it's also nice to be able to not sleep in your own bed and be close. It's like the best of both worlds.
Founded in 1964, Fremont Bank understands the difference 60 years can make. It's the difference between serving a family business and being dedicated to a family business as a family business. The difference between looking at spreadsheets and looking at possibilities. The difference between deposits that go into a vault and deposits that go back into your community. So what difference does 60 years make? All the difference in the world. Fremont Bank. Here for you. Here for good.
Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you can realistically do Disneyland both sides in one day?
I think if you're really ambitious, and I think if you're really on top of your like lightning lanes and getting those like situated, I think you can. And especially if your kids are used to that pace of like, we're just going to go and we're going to go hard and we're going to make the most of it. I think it's possible to hit up all the, iconic rides that you want to do. But I think if you're not that kind of a traveler and you're more of like, I want to mosey, I don't want to rush through things, then I wouldn't even like attempt it.
Okay, good to know.
Another great thing about this area, you're walking distance from, it's called the Anaheim Garden Walk. And so in that area, it's more touristy. So they've got a lot of chain restaurants. There's like a Bubba Gump Shrimp over there. I think a California Pizza Kitchen, like a PF Chang's maybe. There's a Cheesecake Factory. So we like going over there too. Sometimes if we come in like the night before, we'll walk down there for dinner. And I think that's probably also like a 15-minute walk. It's really not bad.
So in addition, wait, what was it called, the area?
It's called Garden Walk.
So is
Anaheim
it like
Garden
also,
Walk.
are there gardens? Like I was picturing like a botanical garden, or is it just like a bunch of restaurants?
No, that would be cool. It's mostly like shopping and restaurants.
It's like an
stuff.
area. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's got, I'm trying to remember. I want to say a bowling alley, but don't quote me on that.
But it's another place to kind of like have some dinner or chill for a little bit if you leave the parks.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to get out. And then one thing that I would like to shout out, if you're someone who's staying in the area and you are going to have some downtime, or if you have another day where you're not doing the parks, maybe you have a late flight, check out the Anaheim Packing District. It's sometimes called. It's a short drive. It's probably like a 10-12 minute drive from the Hyatt House specifically. But this is like, it was an old train car and they transformed the whole inside of it to, it's like a foodie's haven. There's just a ton of different little restaurants and it's all quick service. And they have like little places where you can sit down in there, but it is so underrated. And I feel like nobody talks about this when they visit out here. So it's definitely like a local's like favorite, but there's some outdoor space, like a lawn if the kids want to sit outside or run or anything like that. They've got like a brewery in there.
You said it's a renovated train car. Is it a renovated train station?
No, just like a car, like the inside of it.
A train car? I feel like it's so small for having all those.
I'm trying to picture it. Hold on.
Okay.
Maybe hold on. I'm going to Google it now.
Okay. I was like picturing one train car and I'm like, wait, this sounds like there's a lot going on in this one train car.
Okay. The Anaheim Packing House was originally built as a sun-kissed citrus packing house and is one of the few remaining buildings from the agriculture packing house era, built in 1919. So it's the packing house specifically.
What was a packing house?
Yeah, I mean, like where they would like package the oranges and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
An
It was used to
agriculture packing
wash.
house, also known as packing shed pack house, is a facility where produce is processed and prepared for market. Okay, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, there is like a winery that has like a train car theme. I think that's what I was picturing in my head. But yeah,
Okay, so it's
so
like
it is more.
an area that has lots of different food, drinks, options,
Yeah, it's
brewery.
just a really great little spot to check out. So
Love it. That
if
sounds
you're there
awesome.
and you just want to go grab lunch somewhere and not in actual Disneyland and like actually get out, that's where I would recommend.
Awesome.
So as far as transportation goes, if you are flying in, I would definitely check out John Wayne Santa Ana Airport is probably the closest. Long Beach is my favorite personally. If you've never flown into Long Beach, it is like a quintessential SoCal airport. You land, you deplane outside, and so you like walk in board outside. So I just feel like that's really cool. Everything's pretty much like the terminal is even mostly outside. There's like, covered spaces, but then there's a open air walkway in between the two terminals. So I love Long Beach Airport. And then you can get there. Southwest flies into both. So if you are someone who has that companion pass, you're in luck.
I was looking at that because
Um,
we were, like I said, thinking about maybe some sort of like a honeymoon beach trip or just kind of the California vibes and then doing Disneyland. And I was like, look at all these airport choices with Southwest. And there were like all these flights and they weren't too expensive. And I was like, why have I not looked into this trip before?
it's almost overwhelming living by so many airport options.
Yeah, you're like, what's the best choice?
I one time went to the wrong airport
Oh, yeah, I bet.
and then they were able to rebook me, but then I had a 5 hour layover
Mm,
because, so, I mean, I'm glad that they were able to rebook me and I didn't completely miss my flight, but
you have lots
yeah,
of
it was
options. You got
kind
to
of a
double
nightmare.
check where you're driving.
Seriously. And then if you are renting a car, that's another good place where you can use those Capital One miles if you're trying to offset that purchase. And if you do have the Venture X, that one comes with that $300 annual travel credit. So you can book a rental car right in your Capital One travel portal, apply that $300 credit. That's a good time to use that one. We used that for our rental car in Hawaii. And then I'm a Turo gal. I don't know if you've ever used
Oh,
Turo. I
yes.
love
We've
it.
talked about it a lot. Yes, we all love Turo
Yes.
at this point.
Yes. The only downside to Turo is you have to buy their coverage. So a lot of people with the credit cards, they like that, like the Chase card, the Capital One card, they come with that primary rental car coverage. But because Turo is considered a ride share, not like a car rental company, it doesn't extend to Turo. So, but I feel like even with adding in the coverage, I still pay less than I would if I was renting a car
I
through
agree too.
somewhere
Every
else.
time I price it out, it's cheaper.
Yep,
And you know exactly what you're getting, which is so nice.
exactly.
Yeah.
I like that. I get so much anxiety when I'm getting to a place and they're like going to hand me a car. I'm like, what is it going to be?
Yeah. And I feel like
So,
people are treating it like a business now. Like the guy we rented from when we went out to the Grand Canyon, I swear he has like six white minivans. He's like running a small business now. It's pretty interesting.
oh yeah, definitely. So, in terms of money saving tips, that's definitely what I would recommend. So, those Capital One miles can really come in handy for the park tickets and for any car rental transportation situation. Even if you're doing, transport and you pay for a transport from the airport to the parks, say you don't rent a car, you can always use it to offset that cost. And then for your park tickets, using the travel eraser. And then when you're there, using those Hyatt points for your hotel stay. There are a bunch of other hotels in the area, like Marriott's and Holiday Inns and all of those things. I just still find that Hyatts are the best bang for your buck. And even the Holiday Inn over there, I don't think has free breakfast, which blows my mind. And so I just don't know why you would want to pay for all these other added costs when you don't have to.
Yes, I love it. I love how on your Instagram you say you can get people to Disneyland for nearly free. And I feel like you're getting us there for nearly free.
If you time it out right, I mean, there's a girl who started following me, I'd say like last April, and that was her goal. They wanted to go to in January for her son's fifth birthday, and they wanted to go for free. And she did it. I mean, they did and they even got there. So as she was like in her journey to opening the cards and earning all the points, the grandparents were interested. I don't know if it was her parents or his parents, but then they got on board. So then she referred the grandparents, and then the grandparents came with on the trip, and their trip was also free. And now the
Wow.
grandparents are like really into it, and they're taking like their 25th, I don't know how many years, their big wedding anniversary. They're going to go to Hawaii for free. Like it's just
Wow.
crazy.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I will say the cost of our hotel. So when you are booking Hyatt House with points, you are only eligible to book that standard room, which is going to be the 2 queens or the king plus the sofa bed. So that family bunk suite is not bookable with points technically. So if you want to book it with points, you would have to book it either in the Chase travel portal or just purchase the room and then use like that cashback travel, cashback statement credit feature. What I've done both times, and so I do only go for 1 or 2 nights at a time, so it's not an extended stay, but I always look on my app to see if that room is still available, and I ask when we get there if we can be upgraded to that room. And both times I've been upgraded at no cost. They haven't, but I have heard some people are like, oh, they upgraded us, but it was $25 extra per night. We just paid that cash. So I think if you really want that bunk suite, that's an option too. So
Yeah, I have heard people doing on different trips like this, just go ahead and booking the room on points to secure the room, and then like even emailing or calling the front desk and saying like, hey, is there like a fee to upgrade? Of course you want to get it for free if possible, but if you really want to make sure you can secure it, sometimes you can go ahead and get that secured by like paying an extra fee to upgrade to that room and just have it done.
Exactly. And then you have the peace of mind of knowing that it's done.
Yeah.
So when we went, we paid 12,000 points per night. So it was 24,000 points for 2 nights. And the cash rate would have been $350 for the standard room. The cash rate for that bunk room would have been $440. So we saved quite a bit of money, even just 2 nights, as locals, not having to worry about it. Just by using those credit card points. And 24,000 credit card points is so little. Considering right now the offer for the Sapphire is 75,000. I mean, you still have 50,000 points left to use towards your flights.
Yes, I know. I love it. What was the catalyst that got you into points and miles?
I've always been, I was the person who used my Southwest card for approximately 18 years and had no idea that this was this whole world out here. I thought getting my 1 or 2 free flights a year was like a big deal because I was smart enough to use it like a debit card, but and I did open it once and get a bonus. And I just never thought that there was this whole opportunity to keep doing it for some reason. But when we started, we had a trip to Mexico coming up and we did not want to pay the $1,000 for flights. And it was at a specific hotel for a wedding. So we couldn't use points for a hotel stay. And I was like, well, let's just at least try to get points to cover, the flights. So I'll refer my husband to a Southwest card. And I knew that alone would be enough for us. And at the same time, I had kind of come across Abby from Wayfair & Co., if anyone follows her. But I'd come across her page and I thought she was the only person on the planet who was doing this. I thought there was nobody else out there. And so I had also at the same time, like kind of pulled the trigger on getting the Chase Sapphire card. I didn't tell my husband I was even applying for it. I just did it like alone in my office one day. And it went into review and I started like getting really sad. I was like, oh, I'm not going to get approved. It's not a big deal. I'm glad I didn't tell him. And then like an hour later, I got an email that it was approved. And I was like, oh, this is really happening now. And, but yeah, and then I just was like down the rabbit hole. And I like with a background in hospitality and already knowing like airlines and hotels, I was like, well, I could teach other people to do this. And so then I just started my Instagram like 2 months later.
Awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah. I love it.
Founded in 1964, Fremont Bank understands the difference 60 years can make. It's the difference between serving a family business and being dedicated to a family business as a family business. The difference between looking at spreadsheets and looking at possibilities. The difference between deposits that go into a vault and deposits that go back into your community. So what difference does 60 years make? All the difference in the world. Fremont Bank. Here for you. Here for good.
Okay, Jamie, I'm going to end with the same question I end every episode with. If someone out there is considering this trip, what is it about Disneyland on points that would make you say, just book it?
I think just that it gives you the freedom to go and enjoy the trip and not have to look at your bank account or worry about the budget. Like, I know that there's memes that joke about that, like when I'm on vacation, my bank account doesn't exist. But this really gives you the ability to feel that mindset because everything else is covered. So now you're just worrying about the churros and the t-shirts and the popcorn and whatever else that you want to get. I mean, even as a local, I never would do sit-down restaurants because they're so expensive. And so just to be able to go and have a sit-down restaurant one day was like a splurge for us technically. And so I just think if you're someone who wants to go and enjoy it and not have to stress about what's going to be the aftermath when you get home on your bank statement, just go for it. It's one of the easiest, most beginner friendly trips you can plan, in my opinion, honestly.
That's also true because I feel like when you book a Disney trip on cash, you've already spent like 5K or so. Like you've spent so much money on hotel and tickets that by the time you get there, like a popcorn bucket and a t-shirt, it like about puts you over the edge. And so in this
Yeah.
case, you haven't been pushed over the edge yet, and you can say yes to the popcorn buckets and the t-shirts.
Yeah, for sure. It's so much fun.
Well, thank you, Jamie, so much for being here. Remind people where they can find you online if they would like some more information on how you do all of this points and miles travel hacking.
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram at jamie.travel.tips and send me all the messages, ask me all the questions. It is seriously my favorite thing to help you take vacations and not pay for them.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And congrats to you for really diving into this hobby yourself and just like taking it to the next level. I loved seeing your Cabo trip because I am dying to go to that property. So
oh my gosh,
and it's
you
so
have
close
to
to
get
me.
there.
I want to go.
It's so worth it. It's so worth it. And it has been fun to literally book that hotel for $0 was such a dream. So I feel like I'm 75% into the hobby. I just like kind of take my time. You know, I like think about what we need to do next, let the points build, and then book the trips.
Yeah, and that's a really great way to do it. I am one of those people who loves the dopamine hit, so I want to take like those short vacations all the time, just to
Lots of
keep
short
that
ones instead of
excitement.
a few big ones.
Yes. So everyone's got their preferences, but yeah, I love to be on vacation as often as humanly possible.
Same girl. That wraps up another episode of Trip Tales. If you have a trip you'd like to share about on the podcast, email me at triptalespodcast@gmail.com and I'll add you to the schedule. Also, be sure to follow the show so that you don't miss any upcoming vacation destinations. And if you have an extra minute in your day, please leave a review for the podcast. It helps more than you could imagine. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next episode of Trip Tales.